Specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you...
I know you're trying to goad me, but, I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There are going to be plenty of time. I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental, as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
Whoa. That was the latest installment of Joe Biden from his basement. Here to react, Sarah Sanders, Fox News contributor and former White House press secretary. Sarah, thanks for being here. There's two parts to this. One, our own Doug McKelway asked him if he'd taken a cognitive test in June. He said, oh, I take it all the time. But the second part is, if asked a hard question, Joe Biden either can't answer it or yells at the reporter. I mean, at least he didn't call him a dog-faced pony soldier. What's your takeaway from this?
Well, first, these aren't even hard questions.
Yes.
Hard questions are dealing with the problems that he would face as president. The things that are coming at him right now, particularly questions from reporters when he actually shows up to take a few, are softball questions. The ability... the inability for him to answer any of these questions, I think, give everybody a lot of pause before voting for him. But one of the things that I find so shocking is how quiet the media is when he comes up with all of these crazy answers. Can you imagine if Donald Trump gave that answer to a reporter about whether or not he was mentally fit to be president? They would go absolutely crazy. Every time the president says one word off, they lose their minds and they spend the next 12 hours running it on a loop talking about how he shouldn't be president. Joe Biden can't get through a single interview, put one coherent sentence together, and yet they sit quietly. I find it absolutely amazing how little you hear about this, particularly on an answer where he asked a reporter if he was a junkie. I mean, it's just truly, it's mind-blowing.
He's at least 4 times that I've seen when he was on the campaign trail trying to earn this nomination that was just handed to him by James Clyburn. He has told those questioners or those asking him a question in these town hall settings, you better vote for somebody else. Called another guy fat. All right. So this is the man, Uncle Joe, that everybody says is such a great guy. He might be. I have not seen it yet or was. And Sarah, how many times would you want to turn around on that reporter when you were getting blistered on a daily basis? You had to keep your calm, right? And I don't know if you have a punching bag or a heavy bag at home, but I never saw you sweat. Joe Biden sweating in his basement, and he's got the air conditioning on. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign said this to Fox. It was a preposterous question deserving of a response that showed the absurdity of it all. What's preposterous? Listen to his answer. It backed up the need for that question.
Not only that, but it's the same question that they've asked Donald Trump a million times. Where was the Biden campaign saying it was preposterous for them to ask Donald Trump that very same question? I mean, again, the idea that he can't field a basic question on whether or not he is capable of doing the job as president, I think shows he is incapable of doing the job as president. We have big challenges that our country faces, and he is going to have to be able to handle a lot of difficult things. If he can't handle basic questions, I can't imagine how he handles rebuilding the economy, defending against some of the toughest adversaries our country may face, fighting back against China and Russia, and a number of other things. If he can't handle a couple of softball questions from reporters without losing his cool every single time he gets a little bit of pushback. I think that's one of the big reasons that Donald Trump is going to do very well in November, because people at the end of the day know that Joe Biden is not ready to lead this country and certainly not ready to take on the challenges that we face ahead.
You bring up a good point, because we would never ask someone at a dinner party that, but you can ask a president of the United States, someone who wants to have that position, commander-in-chief, who makes decisions about our military, putting our men and women's lives on the line. I think it's a fair question. Let's talk about the campaign strategies of both camps. You have Politico writing, this is their headline, Trump's campaign knocks on 1 million doors a week, Biden's knocks on 0. And then the headline for New York Post op-ed says Joe Biden's basement strategy will backfire. Compare the two campaigns and who you think is doing a better job. I guess I know what your answer is going to be, but...
Well, I think it's really simple. There's enthusiasm for President Trump where there isn't for a President Biden campaign. People just aren't excited about seeing Joe Biden win the nomination in the way that people are ready to do just about anything to see Donald Trump reelected. This country has done infinitely better under his leadership, and people want to see more of that. And they love that he is somebody who fights back, who stands up for our country, and frankly doesn't apologize for the greatness of America. Joe Biden can't put a sentence together. There's no wonder his campaign doesn't want him out more. Would you, if you were his campaign manager, if you were the one making decision, would you want him going out making blunder after blunder? I don't think so. You'd want to tuck him away, have other people put out responses and talking points on his behalf and hope for the best. Donald Trump has been out every single day. He takes hard questions. He talks about his record. He talks about what he's going to do. And frankly, he's proven himself as a capable leader. I think the contrast could not be clearer. And I think that November will show that. I think voters are very smart, much smarter than Democrats give them credit for. And it's the reason that Donald Trump won in 2016 and the reason he's going to win again in November of 2020.
Well, Sarah, Joe Biden is on tour of Ohio right now, virtually. A big bet being made by the Biden campaign that they can do it all digitally. But in an era where voter registration might matter if they're pushing out ballots, this retail politics, door to door, could end up, especially in key states, being very important.
Again, I think it shows the lack of enthusiasm. Nobody is voting for a President Biden. Even when they talk about what reason they have for him, becoming president, it has nothing to do with Joe Biden, and everything is about attacking Donald Trump. Donald Trump surrogates, on the other hand, have a lot of great things to talk about, have a record of 3.5 years of accomplishments that they can tout when campaigning for the president. I think that is a huge difference, and I think that's one of the reasons you don't see those volunteers, you don't see those massive voter registration efforts the way that you're seeing from the Trump campaign. I think it's going to make a big difference. And again, I think that enthusiasm gap was something that people missed in 2016, and I think they're missing it again in 2020.
And they did outraise the Biden camp, breaking their 1-month streak. So they did raise more than them last month.
Yeah, $165 million for Trump last month and $140.
Yeah, Ivanka Trump raised $4 million just this week virtually. That's more than Joe Biden can raise as the candidate himself. I think that shows the difference in the power of the people supporting this president versus those supporting the vice president.
Sarah Sanders, thanks so much. Have a great day.
You bet.